So you just got a brand new VxRail system. It's powerful, it's full of promise, but you know what? It's not finished, not by a long shot. Today, we're going to dive into the essential pro tuning steps that take that out-of-the-box hardware and really turn it into a high-performance, super resilient machine.
I mean, think about it. You've got the latest and greatest tech humming away in your data center. The initial setup is done, all the lights are green. But here's the real question. Have you actually unlocked its full potential? Because trust me, the journey from just working to truly optimized is really just getting started.
And this is exactly where post-deployment procedures come into play. You know, it's a lot like getting a new computer. You don't just turn it on and immediately start your most important work, right? No, you install your favorite software, you set your preferences, you customize it to work for you. That's precisely what we're doing here. We're fine-tuning the cluster for killer performance, tight security, and rock-solid reliability. So, let's get rolling. We're going to go way beyond that basic install and see what it really takes to build an environment that's not just powerful, but truly resilient. Our first stop, and you could argue it's the most critical one, is all about building a digital fortress. And this isn't just about security in the traditional sense. It's about making your data tough, secure, and always available, no matter what kind of disaster might be lurking around the corner. Let's start with the foundation. Right off the bat, you have a fundamental choice to make. On one hand, you've got RAID 1, or mirroring. This is your go-to for maximum availability. It literally creates a complete identical second copy of all your data. On the other hand, you've got RAID 5 or 6, which uses this really clever technique called erasure coding. It's all about maximizing your storage capacity while still protecting you from drive failures. So you have to ask yourself, is my top priority absolute, no questions asked data redundancy, or is it getting the most out of my storage space? This one choice is going to shape your whole resilience strategy. Okay, once your data protection is dialed in, you need a backup strategy that you can count on. And in the IT world, there's one golden rule that everybody, and I mean everybody, follows, the 3-2-1 rule. It's so simple, it's elegant, and it is incredibly effective. First, let's talk about the 3. This just means you should always have 3 total copies of your data. That's your main production data plus 2 backups. Easy enough, right? Next up, the 2. Now, your copies can't all be living in the same basket. They need to be stored on at least 2 different types of media. So you could have one copy on your super-fast primary flash storage and another on a totally separate backup appliance, maybe even tape or object storage out in the cloud. This little bit of diversity is what protects you if one type of storage fails. And finally, the 1. Now this is the real lifesaver when it comes to disaster recovery. You absolutely must keep at least one of those backup copies in an off-site location. Think about it. If there's a fire, a flood, or any kind of physical disaster at your main site, that off-site copy is what's going to save your bacon. And here it is, the whole rule altogether. 3 copies on 2 different kinds of media, with one of them located off-site. This is the absolute blueprint for data survival. If you follow this principle, you've just laid the cornerstone for your entire digital fortress. All right, our data is safe and sound. Now for the fun part. It's time to unleash this thing's performance. Let's pop the hood and fine-tune this engine for maximum speed and efficiency. I want you to think about your network for a second. Is it a wide-open superhighway where data just flows freely, or is it more like a congested city street during rush hour? Because without the right optimizations, even the fastest hardware in the world can get stuck in a nasty traffic jam. So here are 2 critical network optimizations you can make. First, use VLANs. This is like creating separate dedicated lanes on your highway for different kinds of traffic, like management, vSAN storage, and vMotion. It totally prevents congestion. But the real game changer? Enabling jumbo frames. By bumping up the maximum transmission unit, or MTU, to 9,000, every single network packet can carry way more data. It's like upgrading your delivery fleet from a bunch of little vans to massive semi-trucks. It's just so much more efficient. And on the storage side, well, the checklist is just as important. First, make sure your data is evenly rebalanced across all the nodes to avoid any performance hotspots. And if you're using an all-flash system, enabling deduplication and compression is an absolute no-brainer. It can dramatically shrink your storage footprint by getting rid of redundant data. And speaking of all-flash, this table really shows you just how much VMware's vSAN has evolved. The newer Express Storage Architecture, or ESA, is a total redesign built for the incredible speed of NVMe drives. I mean, look at the differences. ESA gets rid of the complex cache tier, it dynamically manages RAID 6 protection for you, and compression is just always on. The takeaway here? It's smarter, it's way simpler, and believe me, it is a whole lot faster. Okay, so our system is resilient, and it's running at peak performance. Now we have to protect this incredibly valuable asset we've built. It's time to harden our defenses and lock everything down tight. And let's be crystal clear about why this is so important. The goal here isn't just about checking off boxes on a list, it's about fundamentally reducing your risk of data breaches and making sure you're compliant with all those important security standards. The key is to follow a layered protocol. You start by enabling secure boot, which makes sure no malicious code can load up when the system starts. Then, you encrypt your data at rest. This protects your data even if someone physically steals a drive. After that, you lock down administrative access like SSH to the absolute bare minimum. And finally, patching. Patching is not optional. It's a continuous process to close up known vulnerabilities. This is not a one-time setup, it is constant vigilance. Okay, now that we've nailed down all the essentials, let's look at the tools that can take your cluster from just being well-managed to being truly pro-level. Let's peek inside the pro-level toolkit. First, you've got vRealize Operations, or VOps. It uses AI to go beyond simple alerts and actually give you predictive analytics, so you can spot potential issues before they cause problems. For data protection, PowerProtect Data Manager gives you application-aware backups, making sure your databases are backed up perfectly every time. And for just insane, ultimate performance, you've got RDMA, which lets vSAN traffic completely bypass the CPU and talk directly to the network card. We're talking incredibly low latency performance. So look, if you take just one thing away from all this, let it be this. The initial installation is only the starting line. The real power, the real performance, and the real security of your VxRail system gets unlocked through all these thoughtful post-deployment procedures. It is what separates a pretty good setup from a truly great one. And with that, your system isn't just a box of hardware anymore. It's a tuned, fortified, high-performance engine ready to go. So I guess the only question left is, what mission-critical challenge are you going to solve with it?